Sorry, there's not much juicy things we can talk about in our love lives that, you know, can entertain you guys with. So we thought we'd bring in a few other couples to discuss what love looks like.
I'm Mex and I'm 27 years old.
I'm Rosie and I'm 26.
And we're
the Aparas.
Is it where or we are?
We are.
So we have been married for all of 4 months.
I'm Manuel.
Hi guys, I'm Swade, his wife.
And we make Team Swadua, aka the Joneses.
We've been married for 3 years next month.
Hello everyone, my name is Tara. I am 21. I'm 30 years old and we have been married for 5 years. Coming up to 5 years in April.
Yeah, I'm Clement and I'm 30. I'm gonna be 35.
Hey guys, my name's Adela.
And I'm Keith.
I'm 24 years old.
And I'm also 24 years old.
We're engaged. We've been together.
No.
Yeah, my ring's at the jewelers. Okay, we've been together 2 years.
6 months.
2 years, 6 months, and we've been engaged for 4 months.
How did you meet?
This is the story, yeah.
Depends which time, because yeah, he forgot me. So we met. I'm judging.
I'll explain after. I'll let her explain.
So we met because we went to the same uni and we go to the same church.
Okay.
Same church, same team. We were both youth leaders at the time. So I realised, oh, he goes to my uni. And then one time after a youth night, we were on the bus and I was talking to someone that he was with, and then we started talking. And I was like, oh, I recognise you because you go to my uni. And he was like, oh, okay, is it? He was like, yeah. But we spoke for like a good, 10, 15 minutes, whatever. Spoke about how we do the same course and everything. And then I think the next week I saw him at uni again. So I was thinking, oh, that's Keith from church. I'm walking, and we're walking towards each other, but he just like walks past me, and he's just like, I was thinking, oh, okay. And this happened every time I saw him. Every time I saw him at uni, he was just like, not see me.
Is it like a tall person thing that you just...
I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm tall too.
I'm very A to B.
Well, okay. So so I was thinking either he's rude or like he just hasn't seen me or whatever. Because I was thinking we definitely know each other. So if I see him, I say hi. It wasn't like a big deal. And then I made friends with one of his friends because he was a year above me. And then I think he must have come over to his friend, ignored me again, even though I was sitting next to his friend. Went away, came back, and then his friend went to introduce us. But then he stopped himself and he was like, oh no, you guys already know each other because you go back to the same church. And then at the same time, I was like, yeah. And he was like, and I was like, yeah, look at this. So embarrassing. I was like, yeah, this is the same chat. If it would have dissolved, that would be too much for one time to wow. I was like, yeah, we get to the church, and he was still like,
how do you recall from that? God.
I was like, yeah, we're on the same team, and he was like, and then our friend was like dying laughing. And he sat down like 10 minutes later and was like, oh.
After that, you just continued speaking and...
Yeah, because we were in the same like friendship group, in the same group chat.
We had a group chat.
Yeah, we had a group chat.
I think the first message she ever sent me, it was like outside of the group chat, and it was like a meme.
Yeah, because I cussed him in the group chat, and everyone was like, oh, that was sick. And then I messaged him outside like, haha.
Get you back from your
January 2011 when we met. Yeah, we were still students in uni. I was in second year of uni and Rosie was the first year.
I was the fresh meat.
How we actually met, sorry if I'm going to embarrass you. We were in a party, our friends throw raves or promoters in university, and we were in a party. It was Rosie's 19th birthday.
Yeah.
And Rosie was on a table dancing, just having a whale of a time. It's her birthday, innit? Fair enough. She was like actually standing like
on the table.
She was standing on the booth in the table. No, in the table in the booth.
I still don't remember being on. Anyway, I always say when he tells this story, people are gonna think I was like a stripper or something. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. Okay, but continue.
Yeah, she was dancing, enjoying herself in the party. Party was amazing. I saw this girl I said, no, she's gonna have to come down because the party's gonna get locked. So she drops and busts her head, ambulance thing.
Yeah.
I said, darling, come off the table, please. She's like, no! she was literally like, no, it's my birthday! Coerced her a bit more, I was like, calm down, come on, like. She came and listened to me, came down, and then we started talking from there.
That's nice. When did you guys know that you were like in love with each other? And at what point in your relationship?
It was summer holidays. We weren't officially dating yet. We were still seeing each other, the whole situationship thing. And for the whole time, every girl is in that way. Like when you're in the situationship, you're like, oh, I don't want to catch too many feelings. I don't know where he's going with this. And then he comes and slaps me with, it wasn't even a break because we weren't seeing each other, but he was like, oh, he went back home for summer holidays, and he's like, oh, what did you say? I don't know.
So you're a Shoki, Rebecca. That's what
No, that's not what
So good. Honestly.
I've been holding your back.
My brother's a Shoki. Come on. Ow!
I first met my wife when she was 17 years old, and I wasn't ready to engage myself with her because I was a bit of a rough place at that time. I didn't give my life to Christ, so I didn't know what was the one. I just thought she's the one. You know, yeah, this is the wifey material, but I didn't approach her because I knew that I'll mess up her head. What I was, I needed to get my how can I say, my attitude or wrong, whatever I was getting up to. I was in the street, I was too caught up in the street, and I knew that I wasn't in the right place to be a person that's ready to marry. Bumped into her again, obviously 3 years after that. I remember it was strange because my friend was driving. He was like, I just finished watching Rick Ross and them times, like I said, I was out there and we're driving. It's like, yeah, turn right. He goes, and he was like, there's a girl that I want you to see. Oh my, there's this girl. Everyone tries in this girl. No one can. So, okay, let's see who this girl is. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh. He was like, what? I was like, oh, I know her. And when I stepped out the car, she was trying to rush to get inside the house. You know, and then she dropped her hat.
No,
He's a weird guy.
I know what you're going to say. You know what I'm saying. I say what you want to say.
No, I was scared because it was like a black tinted car. Like pulling up right outside my door. Oh, no. I was a bit
and obviously, because it was pitch black and you know I'm light skinned, so you could see me. You could see me through the tints properly in it. I know she was trying to rush in and she dropped her keys. It was so funny.
And nobody's trying to rush you, make the silliest mistake.
And as soon as I said hello to her, she stopped.
Trying to pretend it was cool.
She felt me straight away. She was in love, right down the spot.
Yeah, you think you
right down the spot. Right down the spot. When I spoke to her, yeah, I knew she liked me because I can tell.
Whatever.
Sorry.
I'm so
you
sorry.
see, hold up a second.
I'm joking. Yeah,
I can tell. Yes or no?
Exactly.
I can tell because when she took my number down, she rang me on the spot. She said, "You think
you never let me live that."
No,
down,
I won't. Within 3 weeks, I told her we're gonna get married, and I said I want to take you out of the hood. And we're not going to Essex, live in a big house. That's exactly what I told her.
So when you say when you first met her, is that at 17 or at 20?
When she was 23 by this time.
Oh, okay, that's when you said.
But when I first met her, I was 17.
Yeah.
I felt that way, but I knew that. I knew that I wasn't ready.
Okay, so did you never feel like, you know, you might be missing, like she might find somebody, or did you think she was going to be waiting around for you, or?
No, that's the thing. You're right. That question is a good question. You know what?
Because she's burning.
It's a good question. It's a good question. Because it's a gamble you're playing with. Really, you're gambling. But if I was a believer then, I would believe that God will save her from me. But I wasn't a believer then. But at that time,
I was a believer then.
Yeah, and so I was more like, I was young.
So there was the dating.
There was the cotton.
The ungodly, and then there was the cotton.
That was the godly part.
That's it. Go on, break it down.
Before we got married, we were together for 7 years. For 3 of those years, we were saved, so that's when we were courting. And 4 of those years we were heathens. And that's when we were dating.
We met in her birthday in October.
We weren't friends, bro.
We were friends, Rough. I'm just.
We weren't friends.
Just.
Yeah, we
We
were.
weren't just.
Yeah, we just.
Someone else talks on the phone sometimes.
Yeah, and then when we finally started like talking often, because we weren't really talking. Yeah, we both liked each other, and it was just. I feel like that was the time when there wasn't situationships per se, and there wasn't necessarily I'm dating this person. It was more like, yeah, we've been working on people, my girlfriend. It was like, yeah, it was 10 years ago, guys, 10 years ago.
What do you guys think about, everyone's just doing like relationship goals? Like they see one picture, maybe you'll be holding Rosie's braid and looking at her, loving it. So just write relationship goals, and what do you guys think about that?
No, like a relationship doesn't have an image. Like if you typed relationship into Google, you wouldn't get one picture pasted a million times. Everything is different. Everyone's situation is different.
I say,
there's no one way of doing things, like, because we live in an era where, you know, the TV, social media is showing us one thing, and people do aspire, you know, to what they're seeing, but you have to concentrate on what you have at home. Like you have to manage what you have at home. Like there's no point trying to force something to look like something else because this is how you believe a relationship should look, sort of thing. You have to do what you can within your means, and it's about you and the other person. It's not about you and the other person trying to be two other people.
Yeah.
What would you say is the difference between dating and courting?
Courting is when God's involved. Dating is when he's not. You know, when I look at the difference, now that I'm married, I can now see the big difference between the courting and dating, because the one I courted, I'm now married to. I feel like all the guys that I've dated, I now see it's dating, because dating is almost for the short term, not for the long term. You know, when I dated guys, it was about them looking just for one thing. It was about sex. They hesitated. The sign, you know what, I always say red flag. Whenever a guy does not want to invite you around his family or friends, and you know, you have to question that. You know, it's not because, and the guys that did that to me, it's not because they were embarrassed to show me around their friends and family, but it just wasn't for the long term. That's not what they had in mind. Their agenda was different to my agenda. I remember one guy I was with, and we were acting like boyfriend and girlfriend, but there was no title to it. So I would always be the one that's like, okay, what is this? You know, we're holding hands, he's asking me on dates, we're going out, you know, we're, you know, doing things, but what is this? You have not said we are. I look at that as dating, because it's like you're not sure, you're just, I almost see dating as well like testing the waters, test drive. You know, like you go and rent out a car, you drive it around a bit, and then it's like you get bored of that car, you take it back to the car lot, go and get a prettier car, drive that around, you're testing. Does that make sense?
It's almost like a stock market. You're buying and exchanging, and that's not how really God designed it. Dating is that, but where we go to the godly side, it's almost like you're relying on God's information. Okay, this is my husband. You're relying on discernment and knowledge and wisdom to know that, okay, this is my wife, or this is my husband. So there's a way that you're going to behave and you're going to be approaching the situation.
Would you guys say you courted or dated? Is there a difference to you?
I would say more courting.
Yeah.
I don't know the differences, but courting sounds a bit more sophisticated.
Yeah. Courted, because it was courting. I guess is more intentional, right? Or
yeah, for me it was more intentional.
Yeah.
It wasn't, when I planned stuff, it was more like I know exactly why I'm doing it, or I let them know that we're doing this. And even when we had that month of we say like seeing how it goes, but it was more of going from friends to relationship.
Yeah, because I remember when you told me he liked you that night, I was just like, because he was so like, when I say he did not give me any signs, like apart from the fact that we spent loads of time together, we could have been best friends. Like he did not flirt at all, like nothing at all. So when he said he liked me, I was like, oh, this is gonna be too drastic for me to go from like buddy to boyfriend. So yeah, it was just a month of like, oh, now he holds my hand sometimes. Now he thinks, I remember you say it was just, I think it was just so we didn't shock the system.
Yeah. Within your courting, because you said it was intentional, what does intentional look like whilst you're courting?
I think it's a bit different for you, because I knew what my intentions were.
Okay.
So how she said, she was waiting, but for me it was more like, if I want to be in a relationship with her, I'm not going to entertain anyone else elsewhere. When I told her I liked her, we had that month, and within that month it was like, okay, cool. I know that in these 6 months I can say, okay, I can call her a friend, but I want to see how she is as like what she's like with being my partner. So I even went to her sister and her brother-in-law to be like, hey, I like Adela. Is it okay if I date her? Before them. So I was very like... That's why I say it was intentional, because I was setting up all these things. I was speaking, like, asking my friends, like, what do you think about her? Be honest, like, is she cool? Is she not? The things that you've seen that I may have not seen, that type of stuff. Spending time with her friends at the time, getting to know who they are, how she interacts with them. For me, I'm just very observant, so I just wanted to know.
So Keith, you mentioned like there was a period of time when you knew you liked her, but you wanted to be like, I don't know, sure. Like, what was the thought process in that time before you know, went for it?
I think one thing I kept saying to God and myself was, if this is not for me, take out.
Yeah,
take me out.
I said the same thing.
And it's...
Can't rely on myself.
Even, I don't know about you, even still now, like, not even a bad not even in a bad thing, but I mean, like...
I get you.
I'm being serious. But,
We don't help. It's like we don't help.
Yeah. I'm fair. But I'm being...
It's good.
No, it's good.
Yeah, I'm being... But at the time, I'll speak about them. So at the time, yeah, that was the thought process, because me personally, I'm like introvert, so it takes a while for me to like warm up to people, and like if I call you a friend, then it's not me calling you a friend. You're my family. For me to put Della into that space, I had to be like, yo, I have to see her around my friends. I have to see how she is like in church. Like, so I did my what they call the CRB, so, you know, I asked around, and yeah, and I knew her sister and I knew her brother-in-law. So getting to know their characters and knowing who was around the Della, who was building her up, was quite key for me. There was no hesitation, there was no fighting it. It was just like, cool, I'm gonna go ask Della, or I'm gonna tell her that I like her.
For me, it was, I said the same thing. I was like, God, if you don't want me feeling this, like, take me out, because I'm not, well, at the time, I don't think I was the most, like, discerning person, so I'd said that in the past, like, oh yeah, I'm so at peace, and then it's like, nah, that was the wrong person. So I was like, God, literally, don't listen to me, whatever you gotta do, just do it. And also I had a list, funny enough, which is, not like, it wasn't as intense as it sounds, but,
No anointed oil.
No. But it's just from like time ago. I remember my old pastor saying, like, she said, she just told us to write a list. She's like, if you don't know what you want, how are you gonna know if you find it? So I wrote the list on my phone, but I never actually really thought about it that much. I can't remember I prayed about it, but I had the list anyway. And then I lost the list actually. Like they just all left my phone, and it wasn't until I think I was like already in a relationship, or no, close to the relationship stage with Keith, that I started remembering the stuff on my list, and I was like, oh my god, it's Keith. And the things on my list were, the only physical thing was that he has to be taller than me in heels. I put in heels in brackets.
I think essential that people should stop laughing at that kind of stuff. It's serious.
Because people used to say to me that like I wouldn't get a tall guy because I'm tall, and I was like, no. But everything else was just about the character, and it was just stuff that over time I'd realised were important to me, and it's usually from like past mistakes. So for example, I'm like, he has to be humble, like he has to have wisdom, my family has to like him, all that kind of stuff. And so for me, it was just a case of like checking his fruits and just seeing what he's like. And it was weird because I've never met anyone like Keith. He's just, I don't know, he's nice, isn't it? But
if you guys didn't know, obviously Mex is Nigerian and Rosie
Caribbean, yeah, Grenada.
Come on. Yeah. So do you find that there's a culture clash, or like has that never been an issue for you guys?
I don't think so. I would say like even when it was a decision we made to move in together before marriage, and in both a Caribbean household and an African household, it's like an abomination. we both went through that, so I feel like Caribbean and Africans, our culture, the way we're brought up, it is quite similar.
Yeah,
it is quite similar anyways.
How do you guys manage disagreements, and how do you like resolve them?
Not letting the sun set on our anger.
Sorry, I don't know how I rolled my eyes, but I just think he's gonna go.
No, we do
on
actually.
scripture there.
I remember before it was kind of forced. Well, for me, it was forced at the start. Because I probably went to beef for 3-4 days. And
Yeah, that's
She might get kind of just learned, saying, you know what, it's done now. Let's just make a silly joke and get a move on. Do you know what I mean? I think this makes it more healthy for the relationship because you know to have anger in your heart for someone for more than one day is a lot. You know,
It's not gonna lie, I didn't get angry with you. I'm not an angry person. I get frustrated with it. I'm not really someone that will be like, I'm angry. But one thing I would say is that what he said rightfully, he has definitely improved, and I think so have I. He's more the sort of person that if I annoyed him, he wants to be in his feelings for a while. Like, whereas with me, if you've annoyed me and I've said what I said, give me like 10 minutes and I'm cool, like I'm ready to be your best friend.
But there's a difference, you can't just vibe me and try to be friends.
And that's what you I don't understand all you hard-hearted individuals. I'm definitely like with EJ anyway, like even if he's like, well, I'll still talk to you. You know what's is definitely to talk to you. I'm still gonna talk to you. And literally after a while, like he'll be talking to me, even if he's off, he'll be like, yeah, and then that person's additional. I'll just be like, hey, like, I'm over it now, like, and then later on I'll be like, you was mad earlier, and I'll be like, that's the sort of person that
No, so they say annoying.
Are too hard-hearted. So like, life's too short. Like even today, it's not that short. It's not that short.
So I know you guys aren't like an overly like spiritual couple or whatever, but obviously you guys do take like some Christian principles.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So like in terms of like, you know, like head of the house and like wife submission and stuff, like do you guys feel like very like subconsciously you guys have kind of like, settled into those roles, or do you feel like submission is something that you naturally do like as a wife, or do you feel like you naturally lead? Is it just something that you just...
So personally, I don't think submission comes naturally. I feel like maybe some elements of it, but I definitely feel as a woman, especially our generation, it is something that you have to work on.
Yeah.
It is definitely something you have to work on.
Is it necessary?
I would say yes, to some extent. So not maybe... I don't know if you guys watch what's that show, Married with Medicine. There's one.
Married to Medicine.
There's one. Yeah, Dr. Heavenly. Like she takes it to the extremes. I feel like.
But at the end of the day, Dr. Heavenly's relationship, like,
it's solid.
Yeah, it's solid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
they haven't had any problems on the show.
Yeah, that's true.
So but I'm saying not everyone might want to go to that extent with it. But I definitely feel like the man needs to take the lead in the aspect in the family. Yeah.
So what does submission look like? From like, if you were to describe your like role as a submissive wife, how do you display that in the relationship?
So I would say submission, I feel to me, is also about supporting. It's not just about putting everything on the guy. So supporting him with things, discussing, but also letting him lead. Yeah, I don't know. For me, submission is a fine balance. So you play your role as a woman, not saying that you have to downgrade yourself and aspirations, what you're about or anything, but letting the man do his job, lead the family, but also support him. I feel like since we've been married, I've definitely been more, doing that a lot more, like letting him lead.
That's nice.
Do you agree?
Because
you have a different opinion.
I feel like we're very 50-50 in terms of like we said earlier, we consult each other a lot about everything. So it's not necessarily about who's leading. It's just more about we spoke about it and we try as best as we can to come to a joint decision sort of thing.
Yeah, that's true, but I feel like where in the past if we've had disagreements I would like go ham, but now I'm just like I guess a bit of submission.
And I think sorry, something
maybe you don't know this is what she's doing.
Maybe you don't.
I can say that I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen that she's not as all guns blazing as she once was, sort of thing. But like I said, that I feel like I don't really go off and kind of do things without consulting her. Anyway.
Yeah, he's not like
input is always
the
there,
alpha
so.
male.
Yeah.
Definitely not that, but submission is important.
I think that's what it should look like.
Yeah,
what you're describing is what submission should be like.
How do you put those kind of Christian principles in terms of like submission and stuff into your marriage? But we're living in like a different age now.
Yeah, it's sort of that, with that question, it's almost like two questions in one. So it's like, okay, going to the modern world side, I feel like I feel like when you say men should do this, women should do that, it puts pressure on the marriage. Because what they say a man should do, it may not be their strong point. And what they say a woman should do, I feel like, I'll give you an example. My husband, he can iron. I'm telling you, he's one of those people that iron, like, it looks like you took the shirt to dry cleaners.
Yeah.
So am I going to be like, no, I'm a wife, I put pressure on myself, I should be the proper 31 woman and try and, because that's how we go crazy. Yeah. Because we're trying to be something that is just not our, if it's not my strength, I can hold my hands up high and be like, yeah, he irons, innit? What am I going to do about it? There's nothing I can do. Oh, it doesn't mean I don't iron, but, and he shouldn't look at it like, what am I doing ironing? You should be the one ironing. You're the woman, you should, do you know what I mean? We put pressure on each other.
I think that's when it goes wrong, when you start pointing fingers. Yeah. And in a relationship or marriage, boyfriend or girlfriend or not, relationship comes with when you start going wrong when you're pointing. Because really, you're supposed to be working together. Me taking that aboard and just seeing the way our fathers or their generation like don't really appreciate the wife and just anyhow sometimes and took advantage of that and create this mindset of a woman becoming an independent woman. That's what's made it hard for my generation or our generation now for a woman to be able to submit to a man, because the men took advantage for that time, you know. So, and you can see it because they're still doing it until now. However, I've had to learn how to. So me seeing that, I thought I'm not going to be one of those guys. Our husband has a big responsibility, just like a wife has, just like the husband have. Like there's a big role for each other. But I think it's respecting each other's role, each other's position. It's not that you belong in the kitchen and I'm alright. No, times where it's gone a whole week. I'm the one that's cooking. I've actually watched her cooking though, so now I can cook. My cooking is hard though.
It's
my wife's like a chef, so I can't compete. Yeah. But being around chefs, you got to pick up something. Yeah. Because before, I'm not used to seeing a man being in the kitchen on a regular. Yeah.
That's his culture.
It's African culture most of the time. And man, what the man says goes most of the time. So I'm not used to that. But our society is like, hey, it's not like that. My wife one time said to me, you need to go and clean the bathroom. Man, I was thinking, this girl, I didn't say it to her, but I realized the pride trying to come out. I was like, oh my days, wow, I got a problem going on here. So basically I have to face these things. Because little things like this, like, how can you tell a man to go and clean up even, or cook or go and pick up this, But I've had to learn, renew my mind. That's my background. I had to renew my mind.
So what is your background, just so that both
I'm Congolese.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm Congolese, so I'm African, and
Caribbean.
A king is a king, basically. It doesn't do wrong.
We did a show on that actually, Culture Clash.
Worse than the Eurobuzz.
Hey, wow.
Thank God it's not like...
Have you guys heard of love languages before?
Yeah.
Have you guys done them?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you give us like a rundown?
My love languages are quality time and words of information.
Yeah. And mine is quality time, and as of recent, I thought about it is acts of service.
So what was words of affirmation for you? Do you remember on the list, like where it ranked?
Oh, you mean?
For yourself?
Yeah.
Was it? It was like the bottom.
So how? Because like for me, words of affirmation is like close to 0. So because of that, I don't give words of affirmation because I don't like to receive it, or it's not something that I receive. So if I was in a relationship with somebody who words of affirmation was quite high, I think they'll be miserable because they're not getting what they need from me. So have you found that that's ever been an issue for you too?
Yeah, I won't say an issue, but we spoke about it. Yeah. And so I, quite rightly the same. I'm like, if you tell me I'll keep you the nice today, I'll be like, safe. I'll just walk off. But what I've learned in this relationship is that it is important to other people. So even though it's hard for me, I do it. Yeah. And I think I'm growing, and I want to keep on doing it until it gets to the point where I might be saying it too much. You might have to tell me to relax in like 5 years.
I think that was it, because I don't think I actually realised that words was big for me until I realised that you weren't big on words, if that makes sense. So I thought, words are nothing to me, it's all about actions. But then, obviously, but then I thought, Keith, you got a nice today, and I was like, Keith, say it, kind of thing. So I think stuff like that comes to life. Actually, now that I think about it, in terms of acts of service, I don't, not that I don't mind doing stuff for people. I used to be one of those kids, yeah, that if I was gonna wash up, I was gonna wash up. But as soon as you tell me, can you go wash up, I'm like, I don't want to wash up anymore. So I think, yeah, serving someone, and he loves food, so it's usually foods. I think that was a bit of a, it's not like my favourite thing to do, but I think now I'm learning to like.
Okay, so have you guys heard of love languages?
Yeah.
Okay, so have you done the test?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've got a book and I've read the book.
I've never done a test, but I feel like I'm at the stage where I know myself well enough to know my love language, mine per se. Like, I'm someone that, you know, like some of the love languages are like, some people like to receive like gifts and stuff. I just like time. Like, I like people to show me quality time or want to spend time with me or be around me. That's what makes me feel special. It makes me feel loved. You know what I mean? You can still buy me gifts.
Is there a love language for like an African food made for you when you get home?
Acts of service.
He definitely likes acts of service. Like, if he came home and I was like, oh, there's a fish shooting my chicken, he'll be like.
But you know what? Personally, that makes me want to make sure that I go hard in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Make sure that I'm bringing the money home, make sure I'm providing for the house. You know, I appreciate my whole wife.
Do you think there was ever a time where you didn't understand each other's love language?
Definitely. I think there were so many tumultuous periods of our relationship over the 10 years, and in the early stages, because of character flaws, it is difficult to want to even learn or believe in someone's love language. I think that as we matured and got more interested in investing in what we had, it was like, okay, I want to learn what makes you happy because I want to be that person that can fulfill that role and make you happy. So that being said, that's how I think learning what each other's needs are came along. I'd say maybe, as I spoke about the first 4 years being dating, we weren't saved yet. Yeah, 10 times we did not know each other's needs or wants. We were just playing everything by ear and somehow it worked.
I guess to add on to that, I guess level of maturity at the time is a major thing. Also, until you can first love yourself or even know who you are, how do you then love someone else or perhaps take on the role to love someone else? You know? And I guess it's the definition of what love is about. Obviously, love being patient, love being kind, love being long-suffering. Until you can actually adopt those into your day-to-day and make that conscious decision to do that, then you're not going to truly be able to love someone if you don't love yourself. So.
Preach, Pastor.
So I saw something on Instagram, right? And it was a picture of Will Smith with a beard and a picture without a beard. Whatever said, like, do you think your spouse has to consult you about, like, obviously he had no beard, so he has a full beard and now he doesn't have a beard. Would you expect like next to like consult you? Is that something that you guys would expect?
When my beard finally decides to come and join up. But yeah.
Like, for example, like if Rosie just wanted to change her hair, like just cut off all her hair, is that something you would expect to be consulted on? Because it's quite an individual thing. But at the same time,
her natural hair?
Yeah, like go bold, like Uvie or something. Yeah. And
your hair suits you. Not to say yours. Not to say, well, I haven't seen you with low cut hair. Rosie always kind of asks me about what she plans to do with her hair anyway.
Yeah, I would like discuss it anyway.
Yeah, not that, you know.
Not asking for his permission, but I might be like, oh, I'm thinking of like getting a fringe next door. Do you think it will suit me? So he kind of knows anyway.
Yeah.
But for him, he doesn't tell me. He just goes to the barbers. I feel like personal grooming, like, yeah, you might discuss it, but it's not something to get permission of. Like, if it doesn't suit you, I'll tell you, but you've done it, innit?
I feel like if you were to do that though, like come completely bald, I'll think probably a bit deeper and think, what kind of sudden change in life are you going through? Like, what, what is this? Like, do you want me to put the kettle on?
What do you guys put in place in order to kind of like protect your purity whilst you're heading towards marriage?
Accountability.
This is like my mum. She always keeps tonight.
I have like a group of friends. They're very like, I can't mess up, basically. So they make it very hard for me to walk away from God. So like I can't do certain things or whatever. And then like filling your time. Like for example, we have an Easter show in our church coming up. So that means I'm going to be at rehearsals like early in the morning to late at night. That means that I won't have the opportunity maybe to stay at Dennis' house at night because I know I have to be somewhere in the morning. So like, all these small things.
I feel like when you're idle, personally when I'm idle, that's when madness happens because I'm just in any respect, like because I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Satan's like, hey.
And I guess most importantly, again, spend time with God. Like, you'll put that conviction on your heart.
Yeah. There's definitely a correlation between any type of sin and like how your relationship with God is at the time.
Okay, so you guys obviously talked about your transition from dating to courting, and obviously when you started courting, your relationship was more like sexually pure. So I'm sure there's other couples that might be out there that maybe are going through the same transition. What would you recommend, or like what tips or things did you put in place, like practically, to kind of establish your purity in your relationship?
I'd say for people that aren't living with each other, I'd say maybe try and reduce the amount of conversations you have after hours. Because sometimes, you know, the enemy will make work for idle thumbs, like, or idle hands, like they say. If you're talking after hours, then you might start feeling a bit, you know, that way inclined.
You might hit the FaceTime button.
Yeah, or, you know, try.
You're saying that stuff, wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, and I'd also say that don't be staying at each other's houses. Like, if he says come to his house and it's like getting too late, like, the thing is, because you're so used to doing something, you have to really pull yourself away, and then when you know that you are settled and you're able to maintain, you can little by little, do you know what I mean? But don't start, if you're already someone that's, you know, very maybe lustful, or you like having sex and you want to try and be godly, obviously pray about it ultimately, but physically we have to do something to avoid from being in the same place when it's just you two. Try and meet each other more, maybe out for drink, when I say drink, I don't mean alcohol. Mocktail. Yeah, or even mocktail, exactly. Try and go out, I don't know, for lunch, for brunch, for dinner, but try and avoid being in places and putting yourself in positions where those sort of things can occur. Because some of us are like, yeah, I want to do this, but then you're still like, I'm staying at his house. I'm like,
it's all good though, having the preventative measures, but again, it's also about how bad do you really want your end goal. So if your end goal was to perhaps maybe, well, I wouldn't call marriage the end goal because it's just a start point, but it's the next checkpoint, so to speak. So if you want to get to that next checkpoint, you both need to have that mindset, okay, we're both responsible for making sure that we both don't fall. So even if I feel a bit, you know, having a weak moment, and I want to expect my partner, like, no babe, let's not fall short, I'm going to pick you up, or vice versa.
Yeah, I'd say pray together a lot, fast together a lot, and just like what EJ said, this is pretty much what saved us when we transitioned from dating to courting and lived with each other. If there was a time, obviously I'm attracted to him, he's attracted to me, so that spark is still there, and we're trying to, you know, decrease it in that way, if that makes sense. So when we're still challenging or battling with that lust spirit, we would rather that if I kissed EJ, for example, and we were kissing for more than 5 seconds and then his hand went a bit low, it would be kind of like, you get it, no, we just need to stop kissing. Like, so it became a thing. It sounds like so primary schoolish, but I'm thankful because that's what's brought us to kind of where we are at now. It was a thing where it's like, we can't kiss each other, like we just can't be lipsing each other up because it's just not helping, you know? Like, well, it's like once we start, we weren't having that self-control. So what we just said, you know what? Pecking is simple, just, you know what I mean? There was no...
Do you know what it is as well? It's everyone should know their threshold in their limits.
Yeah.
So what worked for us may not necessarily work for everyone else.
How would you say your relationship has changed from when you were courting to when you got married?
Big difference between marriage and when you're boyfriend and girlfriend is that, like I said, boyfriend and girlfriend, you can always hang up and go and do what you need to do, or you can be selfish. You can afford to be selfish.
Yeah.
But in a marriage, you can't afford to be selfish. It's a maturity level. It's a realm that only mature people can enter, and you can only enter when you're joined together. And it's like you join to the hip like this, yeah, and you go through the tunnel. And when you go through the tunnel, you can't. When you're actually in the tunnel, you can't reverse back. That's the difference with marriage. You can't reverse back and say, you know, like there's a black tunnel. Even though there's no traffic in it, there's no one in there, You can't reverse it in black hole time. It's a one-way system. That is marriage. That's the difference. You can't reverse back. If you got that attitude, like I can just walk out tomorrow, you've lost the battle right there from the beginning.
It definitely tests your Christianity as well. Marriage shows you whether you're really a Christian. Because, like what you said, when you're single, you can just be like, I ain't calling you, block. I don't have to see you. But where are you going? In the same house.
You have to make it work. You want a peaceful house? You have to create
and it burns you inside. And in marriage, I learned that your flesh is dying. Your flesh is screaming out loud because it's like, I have to forgive. I have to do it now. Do you know what I mean? And you hear all these scriptures, don't let the sun go down in your anger.
You mentioned that you have a child now.
Yes.
Baby know for glory. Hallelujah. So how do you think the dynamics of your relationship has changed since you had a baby?
Time constraint. You've gone from being two people to having like a third person. Just like in a friendship, you've got like a third wheel. I'm not saying that she don't want it, she's everything to us. But you have to, for me personally, I'm learning balance. So now that I've got her in a routine, what I'm doing is that once she goes down to sleep, I know that me and him have our mummy and daddy time. And that might just be just to sit on the sofa and watch something together. And as he says, act of favours is his love language, rub his head a little bit and have a little conversation. That's what he likes or whatever. I'm learning that I can't just be all about Nova. It's changed the dynamic because now I'm practicing balance and time and trying to fulfill an additional role. And remember, with kids, they're not like an adult. And sometimes I think in the beginning it was a bit difficult for me to be reasonable in my thoughts and be like, okay, well, EJ still needs my attention. I would be like, yeah, but you're a big man and she's a baby, she's not asking, she needs it, kind of thing. I'm like, you're asking for it. But then I was like, no, babes, like, you're his wife, like, he needs it as well.
Speaking to Uvie right now.
Boy, I saw him like, yo, this is a word for me.
Finally, what would you say is the 3 top tips for a healthy relationship?
You have to like each other.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds dumb, but
Past aesthetically.
because I feel like some people are just staying in it and like you're looking at them and like, what do I even like about you anymore, kind of thing. So
Spend time with God, number one. That's the source of everything. So your happiness, your fulfillment in life, where you can go to grieve, you can go to whatever. That is like the number one, because I cannot get that. I can't be fulfilled by just a deader. Like, and vice versa. She can't complete me the same way God completes me. So
Communicate. Even when you don't want to communicate.
Be willing to compromise. So when I say compromise, don't be a doormat and lay on the floor to be walked all over, but find the happy medium, the happy balance.
I would say understanding. You have to be prepared to bite your tongue sometimes. Understand, put yourself in the other person's shoes and see it from a different point of view. Like we said at the beginning of this, it's not about you anymore. Like, you've got someone else to consider. So you have to be very understanding in some situations.
If you're, I think if my focus is to please Keith, and Keith's focus is to please me, we'll both be happy, as opposed to like me constantly thinking about all the things that he's not doing to make me happy, and just think about my happiness. We just both end up in different places. So I just realised that if I think about, what does Keith like, and try and do those things, and Keith does the same, we just both be happy.
Definitely be your partner's number one cheerleader. In all that they do, all their endeavours, just let them know that they're the best there is, best there was, best there will be, gas their head.
And a bonus tip: keep the spice in the relationship.
What?
It has to be in all aspects. Not just like that.
She doesn't know what she was doing right now. What?